I have an unusual fetish. I'm into smelling girls' butts. This is for you, Adam. Really into it. I've had this fetish for many years. It has expanded to a desire to smell their armpits and breath.
Jesus.
Lately, I've been getting up. I watch videos of girls farting and pooping. I hate that I have this fetish. I'm totally ashamed of myself.
Dude, before he even checks Instagram or Twitter or like what the weather's going to be like check the 10-day forecast, then look into some fart follies.
What I don't understand is how can he be watching videos and smelling anything? Why does that help him? What does that do anything for him?
Maybe he likes to see it and then...
So he's more like into the scat...
Damn, smell it. I mean, look, that's some like elementary school shit where you like to smell farts, you know?
That is something, there's like I don't know, I would need to know the context for that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'm not thinking good things. Let's just say.
What part of your brain, and where do you develop the, the taste for that? Yeah, like that. Is that passed down from generations?
No.
Is your grandpa like, boy, I'm telling you, when you hit 25, like the farts get better, the butts get bigger.
Nothing like that.
I don't know whose grandpa that is, but
right. You're sort of scaring me.
Is it an acquired taste? Or
I don't think it's a genetic thing. I think it's an acquired thing. I think it's sort of probably trauma related, something related, some traumatizing.
It's always trauma related when it's a weird fetish, right?
Right. When it gets wired in some way, you're like, why? Where did that get into my brain? Well, some sort of trauma.
Also, the internet doesn't help. Like the fact that these kids have at their disposal, I can Google, fart, poops, breath video, whatever it is. I don't know what the key search words are, but whatever you're typing in, it's coming up for you.
Yeah.
I was just telling my nephew this the other day, he's 15, and I go, dude, the fact that you're never going to know the anxiety that comes with calling a girl you have a crush on and hearing her dad pick up. Oh. You know what I'm saying? Because now, like, when he's Snapchatting all the time with these girls, and I'm like, oh, you never, like, I remember calling, and my voice kind of dropped early, so at 12, I'd be like, is Michelle home? And he's like, who is this? And he's like, stop calling. He's like, what? Like, are you in high school? And I'm like, man, I'm fucking 12. I just want to touch a boob outside the shirt. Like, cut me some slack, But like, there's a certain level of, I just evolving too quick without having to go through like the necessary steps of like having a crush and flirting.
You're absolutely, it's interesting to bring that up. I think because of that, because they don't go through those normal developmental milestones anymore.
Yeah.
That's why we're seeing a lot more stalking behaviors in the young males. A lot more. Like much more serious than what you were engaged in.
Yeah, for sure.
Like really here's what they do is they don't know how to navigate a relationship. They haven't had usual milestones. They don't pick up on cues and things. So they'll fall in love with some girl. She's not into it. Then they'll settle for a friend. And then 3 years later, they'll be like, well, I've been your friend for the last 3 years. I've been moving your furniture when you asked me to and cleaning your carpet. Now it's time. Yeah. Now it's time. Let's go. I put my time
and all the messages and other ways that you can show that, like, look, I'm being cool, but still keeping some contact.
Yeah. No. They ladies, those young males that are hanging around you as you're the guy, the sweet, he's so nice, he does anything you that dude is full on stalking you.
Because it's good to feel some real rejection. Like I remember when I would,
yes, in flesh, in real life.
Yeah, and at that age too. I mean, like, because you can bounce back because you just, you fist some Pop-Tarts.
This is you and the fisting again. This is a great story.
Okay,
my name is Jay. I have a question, never been answered. I broke my jaw playing football. A few days later, the surgery, I had an Advil early in the day. I was trying not to do heavy painkillers. Then later, I took hydrocodone. 20 to 30 minutes after taking the hydrocodone, I started crying uncontrollably. It's very weird because I was not sad or feeling emotional. I had coworkers freaking out around me, asking me what's wrong. But while I was crying heavily, I was saying, I don't know what's wrong. It's just coming out. Now I had my medication cut in half, but I didn't take it after that. Is this common? It is not common. Definitely seen it. Definitely seen it many times. I would have patients. I had a patient show up in the office crying uncontrollably.
Yeah, because they found out Seventh Heaven was canceled. After
a Vicodin or a hydrocodone, they took it.
What about it?
It shows you. It's why you know that addiction is genetic, right? Some people take hydrocodone and they cry uncontrollably. I take hydrocodone. I don't like it. It makes me feel shitty.
Yeah. Makes me feel nauseous.
My addict patients take hydrocodone. They feel the best they've ever felt in their life.
Oh,
That's
man.
a different biological response, right?
Where does the crying come into play? Like
it just triggers off some system that.
Yeah. So don't take it, right? That's
yeah. But it's so distressing because it's imagine you were just all of a sudden you started crying uncontrollably for no reason and you weren't even sad and you weren't thinking of anything sad.
That happened to me on mushrooms once.
Oh, really?
Yeah. The first time I did mushrooms, it was sophomore year of college, and I went to a Halloween party at the fraternity I was in, and I was dancing with a girl, when she was working real hard, like to try to make me, come to completion on the dance floor. She was working hard. Like she said to her friends, like, tonight I'm going to make a guy come in his pants. Like that's what she was trying to do. And
it was sure you weren't just on mushrooms. It seemed like
for sure. I was actually grinding on a telephone pole outside.
Right, I was saying on a tree stump somewhere.
Yeah. No, she was there. It was real. And all of a sudden I feel it start to happen. And I didn't know the hallucination elements of being on mushrooms yet. Uh-oh. So I'm just like, oh, this is happening and this is crazy. And she like was looking at me like it was happening, and then all of a sudden she just walks away, and I feel down there because now I'm super self-conscious because I'm like, all right, now I got cummy pants in front of all these strangers, and I start feeling around completely dry. Then I start freaking out
because I'm like, you had a dry orgasm.
I'm like, I thought I came and I didn't. Now what? Like now I'm questioning everything. So I run upstairs and I'm wearing this weird like Slim Jim wig and like a vest, like a sleeveless vest. It was Halloween. I don't know what costume I was trying to pose as.
Raggedy Andy.
Yeah, yeah, from the '80s, and so I run upstairs. And I see a couple good buddies of mine, and I immediately start crying. And I was just like, I think the freak out from that, and then seeing some familiar faces, kind of put me at ease. And they were like, "What happened?" And I was like, and I started just bawling. I was like, "I thought I just came and I didn't, and I just one of the basketball players is here, and he high-fived me, and I think we might be friends. I don't know, and like these conjoined twins keep talking to me. There's a lot going on." But I literally was crying, and
But you having emotion.
And they were laughing.
But imagine crying and not having emotion.
Oh,
yeah, you're just crying.
Oh man.
Yeah, you're not sad.
That's a waste of tears.
Crying. Yeah. You were upset. By the way, you probably had retrograde ejaculation.
Oh really?
The mushrooms made you shoot up into your bladder.
I came into my pee. Wait, what?
Into your bladder.
How does that work? So then
it's called the valve doesn't.
So I did.
You probably had an orgasm. You actually ejaculated, but it went up into the bladder.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was intense.
Ghost load.
Is that the medical?
Dr. Drew, we actually have a question that I think is about that specifically.
Oh, right. A voice message. Let's do it. How timely.
Hi, Dr. Drew and guest. This is Zach from California. I'm calling to ask about something I've been doing for years. I heard a podcast a long time ago from David Cho about when he orgasms, he actually doesn't actually ejaculate, and he holds it all in by a little muscle between the balls on his asshole. I decided to try it out, and it turns out it works.
Yeah.
I've told people about this, and they've told me that the fluid actually will go into my bladder and apparently make me die one day. I don't experience any issues when I actually do ejaculate. It's just more output, and girls seem to like it. So I don't really know. Hopefully, you and your guests can answer this. Thank you very much.
Well, I have a policy. Let me just state my policy, right?
Please. When
things want to come out of your body, you let them come out.
Yeah.
Sneeze, ejaculate, whatever. Generally speaking, healthier thing. He is causing retrograde ejaculation essentially by pushing on the valve. He reaches under his, your people call the taint, but it's the perineum, and then strangely what occurs is a mitzvah. It is. Also.
It truly is.
But anyway, you
that's the story of Passover. A lot of people don't know that.
It's the chapter that they sometimes leave out of the family version. But
yeah, there's no symbolic food for that at the table.
Well, the salt water, but anyway, but be that as it may, it is you may accidentally trigger something where the retrograde ejaculation starts happening every time.
Yeah.
And it's actually a very difficult thing to treat if it becomes sort of a regular thing. It's not easy. So when it comes time for fertility, it can actually be kind of an issue. And it's you're not going to die from it. It doesn't, the semen doesn't hurt you. It comes out in the pee later.
Is there a certain amount of times for fertility purposes that you shouldn't be like leading up to it? Like, I know that there's a schedule for the gals that's more conducive for making a life.
For guys, you're pretty much always there. There are ways to make it better.
Do you hold out for a little bit?
Hold out for a little bit.
Make it stronger,
avoid
right?
jacuzzis. Let them hang.
That's a real thing, huh?
Yeah, they will tell you that kind of thing.
Now, what about hot tubs? I feel like hot tubs are the poor man's jacuzzi.
Yeah, same. That's the idea.
Do you know there was a place called Tubbs in Seattle where I grew up, and I always to drive by it, and I thought it was like a sandwich place. No, it turns out it's a place that you could rent hot tubs by the hour and fucking them.
What?
Yeah. Did not know that until
weird.
End of high school and driving by. I'm like with my buddy and his dad, and I was like, "You guys hungry?" I was like, "We go to Tubbs," and the dad just goes, "The fuck are you talking about?" I was like, "You guys don't want to go to Tubbs? I'm starving." He's like, "For fucking weird cum water? Like what for what?" And I was like, for sandwiches. God, why are you being weird? He's like, do you know what Tubbs is?
Oh.
It's like people pay to go. Isn't that crazy?
Yes, that is beyond crazy. That is not something that would survive down here.
No. Yeah. Probably in like Germany.
Yeah.
Because they're sexually on par.
You know, Corolla and I remember used to always play Germany or Florida.
Yeah.
We had to resurrect Germany or Florida too. Like,
really
so if anybody has any Germany or Florida questions. So anything weird, macabre, out of this world sort of happen of a criminal nature typically. Tell the story to us on the voice message, 818-253-1693, and we will determine, me and the guest, Germany or Florida.
I literally just came back from Miami today, and man, like, you get why all the crazy shit happens. Like, when I brought up to them, I was like, do you remember when it was in Miami when the guy ate the guy's face on bath salts?
Yeah.
And I was like, do you remember when that happened? And they were all like it was a half like, yeah. And I was like, do you realize how normal crazy shit is to you guys? Like, somebody ate a face, and I brought that up, and you guys were like, yeah, I mean, sometimes you eat a face. You know, Chipotle wasn't open. He was fucking hungry. But, like, they really do just, it's got to be something in the booze. It staying up late night, right?
Something.
What contributes to a culture where everyone is just...
I think it is that late night culture, right? It's very clubby, you know, South Beach stuff.
Germany's got that too.
Was the club at South Beach?
No, Miami. Miami Improv. Yeah.
Next question. Voice message.
Hi, Dr. Drew. Big fan. I have a question. So I am 25 now, and I have been on the pill since I was 16.
Okay.
The reason I went on so young was because at the time I was having insufferable cramps.
Painful periods.
To the point where I would black out when I was, 15, 16. Birth control totally changed that. It alleviated that intense cramping and a lot of other symptoms around that time of the month. But the deal is now I feel like the pill is majorly messing like with my libido.
Oh, yes.
Every time I'm on it, I'm not horny.
Yes.
I'm not into crushes or anything. Like I'm just neutral.
Yeah.
Like.
Okay, so this is because of progesterone, and so many of the pills today are these very powerful progesterone agents, and almost no or sometimes no estrogen. And the way to deal with, talk to your doctor about this. The problem is there's a guy named Andrew Goldstein that does a lot of research on this, and it has something to do with the receptor for your sex hormones, progesterone and estrogen. And he has isolated the certain structural differences in the women that get this problem. It's very common. The doctors never describe it to the women, and I'm telling you, it can permanently screw with your libido. That's the really problematic part. So you want to talk to your doctor about getting down on the progesterone, maybe up on some estrogen, or maybe get it off the pill altogether. You may go back to painful periods again, and there may be other ways to deal with that. But again, it's the progesterone predominant pill that does this, and no one ever tells women about this.
They don't,
crazy. It can cause depression. It can cause serious libido problems, and sometimes the libido stuff is permanent. So it's worth getting off it if you can, or switching to something that has more estrogen.
Having cramps that lead to a blackout just seems like the worst thing of all time.
Yeah,
we don't have any sort of
as a male
correlation for that.
Nothing. Yeah, but though when you get older, you'll get yours. As we always say in medicine, you don't want a female's genital tract before the age of 40. You don't want a man's after 50.
Yeah,
so
touche.
Yeah, good time.